you.
Business Express on Smith 98.1. Business Express. Brought to you by InterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
Ready? Mic's up. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It is time for Business Express 981. I'm Ayo Myrasi, and with me is Rotus. Morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning to all our lovely listeners out there. Hope everybody's doing well.
Excellent. All right, if you'd like to join the conversation this morning, we welcome your comments. Please send your message to WhatsApp 0809 444 On Twitter, we are at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag BusinessExpress981. And then on YouTube, we're streaming live. You can also share your thoughts with us there. youtube.com/Smooth981FM Lagos.
All right, thank you so much. Did you mention I missed the news? News is now at 6:05 a.m. Yeah.
Yes,
Did you mention the Virgin news, the Virgin Atlantic news?
No, we
Okay,
didn't.
cool. The thing just broke like hours ago.
Okay.
Virgin Atlantic, of course, owned by UK billionaire Richard Branson, filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy in the US. So this is after they got 1.2 or 1.1 billion pound bailouts for operations in the UK. So Chapter 15 is different from Chapter 11. I think Chapter 15 is for foreign companies with US assets. It allows them to protect themselves against claims while they work on a turnaround plan. So look, the aviation industry is suffering, and it is suffering really, really bad. Just to bring this home to Africa and to Nigeria, back in April, about 4 months ago, we talked about it on this show, ARIC implemented an 80% salary cut across its staff. This was for the month of April. They then said that I believe in the month of May, in fact, going forward, 90% of its staff, I think the ARIC has about 1,800 staff, would be furloughed. Furloughed is where you are going on leave and you don't get any pay. This was back in April. Then yesterday, Airpeace announced that they were letting go of 70 of their pilots because of the impact of the pandemic on aviation operations. And then hours later, after the airline made their own announcement, this Airpeace, Bristow Helicopters, they service oil and gas firms. So what they do is they have flights, they carry oil and gas workers to oil rigs, and then these other floating vessels that are used for offshore oil exploration. I think they're called FPSOs or so, floating vessels. So, and where is the quote? I have a quote from Bristow Helicopters. They said the spread of COVID, this is just hours ago, it's just like late yesterday. So spread of COVID-19 virus has severely impacted all sectors in the aviation industry, including our market, which primarily serves the Nigerian oil and gas sector. In addition, the ongoing downturn in the global oil and gas market continues to influence and determine the demand for our services. The combined effects of these arisings have resulted in very significant reductions in our business, particularly a reduction in the number of contracted aircraft in Nigeria. As a result, the company must now restructure all aspects of its business model, both rotary and fixed wing, those are reference to models, including an extensive review of its operations, and we continue to drive efficiencies, but with zero compromise to safety and our core values. So, you know, the whether you are over in America, whether you are here in Nigeria, whether you are in Kenya, look at what is happening with South African Airways. They are in the airline is practically dead, and they've been trying to find money to revive it. Tito Mboweni, the finance minister for South Africa, has said there's no money to revive the airline. But recently they said, okay, 10 billion rand, can't remember what that is in dollars, will be used to revive the airline. So, you know, but bringing it here, if you look at what's in the last 24 hours, we've got the Airpeace news, and now Bristol. Caverton is a publicly traded helicopter service. I haven't heard anything from them, but at this point, don't know if there will be an announcement coming from them. So the thing is, where is the help? right? They at this point, there's no monetary policy that is going to assist any of these industries. There's no reduction in interest rates or anything. It's got to be fiscal, and it's got to be a bailout, right? The what is it now? Aviation industry in the US, I heard they got about 29 billion or so in dollars to try and assist them. So some have started to come back up. But this Virgin Atlantic news now puts back in focus how much of a struggle they're going through. But at least they got some money. They got some help. I hear there are rumors here that the federal government has been engaging the aviation industry and said that a bailout. Again, nothing official has been announced. This is just whispers that I keep hearing that there's a bailout being announced. But the ARIC made their layoff announcement in April. We are in August. That was 4 months ago. And I understand the safety concerns of closing down. Have international flights commenced? Nope. I mean, they're saying that it will be a little bit later on this month or something like that. But you have to understand that in business, your costs are mounting on a daily basis. It doesn't. If you when a business person tells you that I have to keep the lights on, there's a cost to that, and with each passing day when there is no assistance that is provided to an industry that is suffering, this is what is going to happen. You're going to see massive layoffs being announced, and they are mounting up. And other airlines, I'm surprised that we haven't. Medview, Aero Contractors, Asman, all those other ones. We haven't heard anything from those guys, right? I don't know. Maybe somehow they are keep staying afloat, but at some point you have to recognize that the industry is really amount is jobs. That is all I care about. I don't, that's it. It's just, I don't know who is listening that has friends, family, or other people in the aviation industry, but these folks are suffering. And some money, I mean, if you look at the federal government of Nigeria, if you look at the support they've given to the agricultural sector, it has been consistent, it has been sustained. Healthcare, there have been facilities that have been put out there to support the healthcare industry, to support agriculture. Constantly you hear about this Anchor Borrowers loan for farmers, you hear about this loan for this one. Where is the help for the aviation industry? Like, where?
Dio shares your sentiment. Dio is sending us a message from Surulere saying it's indeed a tough time for the aviation industry globally. Far worse for Nigerian airlines who don't get rescue interventions from the government, hence all these layoffs. Let's hope businesses get back to normal for the sector soonest. And then MI from my podcast says the situation with aviation all over the world is like removing the wings of an eagle. Makes you wonder if you can still call it a bird. This is where the balance of economics and health comes home to roost. Was expecting the government to shake body via stimulus, but that's like waiting for a white elephant to show up. And then Yinka says, offshore platforms, you mean? For oil and gas, by extension, oil and gas aviation, let's face the fact that when there was normalcy, wastages, reckless spending was the order of the day. I know what I'm saying because I'm in it. Are we saying other than operational costs, there are no redundancy plans? Now enter COVID-19 and everything went belly up.
Thank you for your messages. That's very good analysis.
Yeah, Andy says, good morning, Smooth FM. This is the very reason I clamored for herd immunity, seeing what businesses are suffering now. If the big players are crying, imagine SMEs.
It's look,
very true.
It's tough, It's
Benga says the federal government takes too long to decide on what to do for any sector of the economy. They seem to be unaware of the unraveling of the airline industry. And then he says some of those helicopters could be used as air taxis to ferry people from mainland to island. 2020 should just end.
Thank you all for your messages. Yeah, it's again that is the crux of what I'm talking about here. You have to move quickly. You have to support them as quickly as possible. Announce some type of something. Announce something. Because it's really, really rough. And in addition to that, by the way, let me add to that. There is the airports. Who came out with this report? Was it the Guardian? I know I read it in the Guardian about a week or 2 weeks ago. There was a report from Federal Aviation, Federal Airports, FAAN, from FAAN, and it was that between 2014 and 2017, the collective airports in Nigeria, they had revenues of like, I think a 3-year period. Oh, I wish I could look up this thing. It had revenues of like 15 billion naira, but expenses of 40 something billion. So there was a deficit. So the airports, they are not profitable, but they're almost all government run. The article now talked about the pressure, political pressure, where every airport or every governor wants to have some kind of international airport outside of Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. All the other airports are not profitable, and yet, because I remember when Hadi Sirika, Minister of Aviation, I saw a video of him when he now announced the repairs that were being made to the Enugu airport. He said that it's coming along. There were videos. It looked really nice, but in my mind I was like, who is maintaining the cost of this airport? How many flights are going to the Enugu to where you can sustain it? It needs to be in private hands. I mean, I can. If anyone wants to make the argument that your state needs an international airport, it depends on air traffic that is going there. So there's this. I mean, I know I'm segueing into something else here, but what I'm saying is that the costs of maybe this is why the government can't come up with a bailout for airlines, because so much money is being sucked into maintaining these airports that are not outside of, again, Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. They're not viable. So the whole thing needs to be reviewed with regards to how much money is being spent and wasted on maintaining some of these airports. You look around the world, the airports are privatized. Heathrow Airport, JFK in New York. A number of these airports are, I can only think of maybe 1 or 2 airports that are government owned out in other countries. It's a private exercise. So look, it's tough, and we got to review how these things are run and how much money is being chucked into them.
All right. We have a blessing. There's a Power and Aviation Intervention Fund. The government just needs to inject more funds there. So there's actually a fund for them.
How much is it, Blessing? How much is the fund for aviation? Because I've interviewed executives from, I talked to the CEO of Aero Contractors about 3 weeks ago. He said, well, they will welcome a bailout. I'll even post the video on YouTube when we're done. Sorry, I'll post it on Twitter when we're done. He said, we'll welcome a bailout. The language from the aviation execs doesn't sound like any funds have come their way.
And then Olajide says, I don't think government can support all sectors simultaneously due to budget constraints.
Very true, sir. That is another thing. So what do? You borrow. Sorry. That's what does he do?
Yinka says, since we're talking about aviation, then let's break the table. Not sure, but I gathered AMCON is in charge of ARIC and probably Aero. AMCON is the federal government, right? Yet, Honorable Minister was busy launching national carrier when we could have just converted the AMCON operated airlines. Those are the wastages I am talking about.
Understood. A good point.
All right, so Blessing is back saying the seed fund was 300 billion naira.
Cool, but how much of that, thank you for that, how much of that, again, Blessing mentioned power and aviation. How much of that went to power and how much went to aviation? I have to see the breakdown. Thank you, Blessing.
Henry Manuel says, which bailout? We don't have the fiscal firepower to help the aviation industry. All of what you hear from government officials is bluster, also known as officious talk. The strange thing is, when these companies go bankrupt and beyond repair, AMCON will come, and by then the damage is severe. We needed government jobs and business protection plan like yesterday. But what do I know?
Oh, wow, Henry, it's one thing after the other. Are we out of time?
Yes,
okay. Sorry for the bad news, but look, it is what it is. We have to address these things,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rutus, and thanks to everyone who sent in comments. Don't forget you can catch up if you missed any part of this show on YouTube. The video is going to be up immediately after this show, youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. At 7:30, we bring you freshly pressed 981, where we give you detailed analysis of today's national news headline stories. Uade and Mr. C will be joining me then. It's Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life.
Business Express.
Thank you.
I was trying to get comment from YouTube, so I needed to open your microphone.
Oh,
because I enabled comment here.
The